Sorry guys, I got back from my holiday as quick as I could. A lot's been happening. I've been away 1 week. 1 week. And in that week, we've had stuff revealed from Costco. We've had stuff revealed from Spirit Halloween. We've had stuff revealed from Home Depot. Did they genuinely wait for me to go on holiday? Have they all just waited and ganged up on me? Anyway, I am here now. And I'm going to talk about this stuff. I'm going to talk about as much of it as I can. Because even though I'm late to this party, I don't care. This stuff is too good to not talk about. So let's talk about it. So yes, I am very late to several parties.
You're late.
There's been a lot of parties happening in the past week. But it's time that I weighed in on these things and talked about them properly. And we're going to start off with the thing that I think means the most to me and the people here in the UK. And that is the Costco Animated Monster. Or as I'm just calling it, the Frankensteins Monster. That's really, really cool. I'm not going to dwell on this for too long. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it because we pretty much knew and had guessed what this thing was going to do. When we saw the pictures, I said it's very similar to Mad Monster Marlin from Party City a couple of years ago. So the movement's probably going to be almost the same. And I was right. It is practically the same. We've got some arm movement. We've got some basic mouth movement. No head movement, which I was a little bit disappointed by, but then you can't ask for everything. It does exactly what we needed it to do, and it looks really good doing it. The arm movement might be basic, but it's just enough. You get that Frankenstein's monster look. The mouth movement is just enough. It's only got very basic growling, grunting phrases, which again is exactly what I would want from a Frankenstein's monster. None of these extra bits of dialogue happening in the background and sound effects that may not make any sense to your scene. This is all it needs to do, and it's very, very good at doing it. Some little features that I did enjoy about this: the light up bolts in the head, which I didn't even mention the last time I talked about this prop. A very, very cool feature in their own right. But what I like about them is that they're not constant. They're not constantly flickering with electricity. They only flicker with electricity and make an electrical buzzing sound every now and then. And another little cool featurette to go along with that is that the monster's eyes, the LCD eyes that are sort of panning this way and that as it growls and grunts, actually look up into the head each time that these sort of bolts flash with lightning. So it's almost as though the monster's feeling pain at that particular moment as lightning is struck through these bolts. I really like that. It's just a mini little thing that they didn't need to do, but I like that they have. I think it's a very cool thing. And as soon as I can get my hands on this guy, I definitely will do. But for you guys not in the UK, I think the big attraction here, at least for now, is what Spirit Halloween released earlier on this week, and also what Home Depot have begun to release over the last few days. Starting with Spirit Halloween, I'm not sure what wave this is. People keep on saying this is it's like wave 4. Is this wave 4? I've lost count. There's been a lot of waves. We've got a lot of waves going on. But either way, whatever wave this happens to be, this is it. You've got Trick or Treat Pete and the Crypt Countest. Now, Trick or Treat Pete, we already knew, was a weird clown character. Sadly, it could have been anything else, but it's a clown, of course. Why not? It's Spirit. They've got a clown fetish. But I'm going to surprise you guys because I actually think I like this.
Oh God.
I don't know what's wrong with me this year. I definitely have liked more clowns than normal. I don't think I'd buy this, but it's such a cool little feature thing to have by a doorway on Trick or Treat holding its bowl of candy. That alone is a pretty cool feature. And this thing isn't miniature either. I thought this was small. It's like 5 and a bit feet. It's pretty big, actually. It's pretty big and pretty robust. But of course, the main feature of this guy is that he is puking up candy. He is vomiting candy into the bowl. He's laughing and chuckling and making vomiting noises as he spits up candies into a bowl. And that's pretty cool. I mean, I kind of like that. I think that's a pretty cool feature. The kids go to get some candy out the bowl. They get puked on with the candy. It's a cool concept. I like it. It reminds me of that puking pastels shop thing that's in Harry Potter. I quite like that too. That's a really cool looking thing. This is clearly an inspiration from that. So yeah, even though it's a clown and it didn't really have to be a clown, if you've got to have a clown, this is a pretty cool one. It's simple and basic, but it's doing a pretty fun little thing. The Crypt Countest, though, has me a little bit... I like it. Just the name alone, Crypt Countest, had me sold. I like anything to do with crypts and graveyards. Spooky countess, kind of sounds cool. And when we saw this great big thing in the initial images, I was impressed. I thought, this is huge, this is massive, it's gonna be really cool. And it is really cool. The costume looks good. It's just little tattered rags and sort of a really ripped and horrible looking dress. She's got these claw-like hands that she's moving around. She's got chains hanging down from the arms too, which are actually, there is a rattling sound that goes along with that that's actually quite cool. The face is a very cool looking face. She's got mouth movement. She's got this weird kind of grey hair and these bright orangey yellow eyes. Now, a lot of people don't like light up eyes, and I've heard a few people talk about, did they really need to do light up eyes in this? But I like it when they do those light up eyes that are just lighting up the irises rather than the whole eye. I think it looks really creepy and cool. And imagine that in a slightly darkened area of a haunt. I think it would look really quite incredible. But there is a problem with the Crypt Countess, and it's actually a problem that it's usually the other way around. Normally, I say that props don't have enough movement, like they don't have enough movement in the arms or in the head or in the whatever. There's always something that's not moving that I feel that should be. This is one of the few occasions where I think less would have been more. And this prop is moving way too much, like in a really crazy kind of way. It's literally gyrating. It's moving around. Its arms are moving up and down, and its whole body is sort of doing this gyration that is completely unnecessary and makes no sense for what this prop is supposed to be. All you need to do is add some sort of 90s club mix and she would be raving hard. I mean, this is the essence of when the G drops off the graveyard sign, you know? She is in the graveyard right now, and I don't know why. I get it. People like a lot of movement, and I think maybe that last year's Spirit had a lot of props that didn't do a huge amount and were pretty static. And it's almost like they went to their Chinese manufacturers. We want everything to have as much movement as possible this year. And then this prop came along and they were like, right, we just want it to move loads. And that's exactly what she does. She moves a lot. I just don't know whether it was really necessary for her to move as much as that. I'm not gonna bash it. I like it generally. I think it's a very cool looking thing. I can't get past that movement. Like someone even said in the comments of when I sort of shared the imagery of this, it's like, has she dropped her hula hoop? Was she going to a hula hoop contest? Maybe she's Hawaiian, you know, and the hula dancing. Maybe that's what it is. Was she Hawaiian in a past life? I don't know. It's just a little too much. And I don't say that usually. Usually more is more. But this is less would have been more, personally. But I still think she's pretty cool.
This place holds countless souls, each a prisoner. This is your fate now, too.
But then we move on to Home Depot. 2025. And yes, in the last few days, pretty much everything in their entire range has dropped. And it's impressive. I'm impressed. There's a lot of very cool things here. Now, I'm not going to talk about everything because apart from the fact there's way too much to talk about, we have already seen the majority of this. We saw it in the managers' meetings, images months ago now, and we saw actual footage of most of these props. What I'm going to focus on are either the ones that really interest me or the ones that I haven't seen any kind of footage of at all until now. So yes, Chucky and the Bride of Chucky look very cool. Hey, the leprechaun's questionable, don't like the beard. But the shark looks cool. The fisherman guy looks cool. They all look pretty cool. But we've seen it. We've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But there are a few props that I want to just settle on for a minute and talk about for a second. And I'm going to start off with two unexpected Disney licensed props that have dropped from Home Depot. One arguably better than the other. Now, usually what I'll say is, I think Home Depot do licensed props very well. I think when they do a licensed prop, it generally looks and has the animation that you are expecting to see from that particular prop. And they've got a whole bunch of them this year. We've got Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas that both look incredible. I'll just briefly mention Jack's movement is really good. I like the way his arm kind of extends and claws back, and he's singing his songs and his mouth is moving as you would want it to. It's very impressive.
I am the best, for my talents are renowned far and wide.
Who are we to disagree with the Pumpkin King?
Sally too looks just like Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. She's got mouth movement and she's holding her deadly nightshade bottle. So both of those props look very, very cool.
Sky, a cloud of gloom hangs low about the head of life-size Sally.
But I think the ones that surprised most of people were the Evil Queen witch version of the Evil Queen from Snow White and Maleficent, because I don't think anybody knew these existed, like these were happening. Now, the Evil Queen from Snow White, it definitely looks like that cartoon Evil Queen from the 1939 Snow White. It definitely has that look, but just, I don't know, maybe they took it a little too far. It's very bug-eyed. Yes, the character in the original movie is bug-eyed. Yes, she's bug-eyed. But she also does an awful lot of scowling and stuff. They could have maybe given her more of a scowl, made those eyes look less big and bulbous and bug-eyed. I don't know. It's okay. And the movement's quite basic. It's just kind of a jolty sort of movement backwards and forwards. And she's talking some phrases from the movie. It's okay. She's okay.
The apple in the brew. Let the sleeping death seep through.
But I think the winner of these dark queens or mistresses of evil is Maleficent. Now, I was not expecting or anticipating to see a Maleficent, and it looks really, really good. She's got eye movement. The eyes are moving and blinking. She's scowling. She's got head movement. She's got arm movement. The crow is moving. It's all lit very well. The costume looks good. It's on point. If you like Maleficent, you can't want to look much further than this. She looks really, really cool. She's got great phrases as well. It's a really good looking prop with a huge amount of animatronic movement. The only thing is that it's Maleficent, and unless you have a Disney themed horn or a Sleeping Beauty themed horn or any of those things, I don't know how you'd use this. It's clearly Maleficent. You can't pretend it's anything else. Maybe she'd just look odd on her own unless you had an overarching, say, Disney theme. But cool nevertheless. I like the amount of movement she has.
This is a pleasant surprise. I set my trap for a peasant, and lo, I catch a prince.
I'll briefly mention the Ogre because he looks incredible. I knew he would. I liked the Ogre in the initial sort of footage we saw from the managers meeting, and he just looks even better in this footage. I still personally like the glowing eyes, the way they colour change from when he's angry to not angry. And I love the big pointed teeth from the mouth, the bulbous belly. I like the way he's moving that club sort of backwards and forwards as if he's ready to wallop you on. Yeah, I like him. I like the ogre. Again, he goes with the overarching fantasy theme they seem to be doing this year. A lot of fantasy elements. I quite like it.
Smell something good.
One of the props that I'm thankfully quite surprised is better than I imagined it to be is the prop they've called the Guardian of the Gourds. Now, when we initially saw this character in the lineup, he wasn't really doing much and his mouth wasn't moving, and it's this pumpkin-headed, Victorian-esque dressed character that had these razor-sharp mouthful of teeth. But for whatever reason, in the manager's meeting footage we saw, the mouth wasn't moving, and I was like, that's a missed opportunity. Thankfully, we later found out, and this footage confirms, that the mouth does indeed move, and those big gnashing teeth indeed gnash together, which sells it immediately. Just that feature makes this guy look 10 times better. It's a very creepy, pumpkin-headed character wearing Victorian dress. There's a great amount of detail in this prop as well, which I appreciate. I don't still quite get exactly what he is, apart from he's clearly guarding the pumpkin patch. But I like it. I think he's a cool character, and I think you can't go far wrong with it. It's indoor-outdoor rated as well, so he would look really cool amongst some pumpkins.
The night is alive with fear. I can smell it in the air. Come closer.
Now I want to talk about two props that were revealed only recently. They weren't revealed in the manager's meeting lineup, and that is the Wyvern. And the big crow creature that I've forgotten the name of. The Wyvern was, to be honest with you, a bit of a letdown. I like the fantasy element. If you like dragons and wyverns, this is an impressive looking prop. I do like the way that the light up chest sort of extends up the neck as it's sort of lunging forward, and you get this light up effect as if fire is about to bellow out of this creature's mouth. I do like that. I like the movement. I like that lunging neck and that moving head. But I am disappointed that there is no wing movement here. It should have wing movement, right? I mean, even my really, really basic dragon prop from several years ago now, even that has basic wing movement. This should move its wings. That's what I'd want from any kind of dragon-related prop. And the fact that it doesn't is disappointing. The worst part about it is the sound effects that they've got with this almost sound identical to the sound effects that come with my dragon. You get this sort of roaring sound and the sound of flapping wings. So you've got the sound of flapping wings, but the wings aren't moving. And that's annoying. I find that annoying. It still looks incredible. And if you've got a fantasy haunt or you've got a space for a dragon, everyone should make space for a dragon. Then this is a cool looking dragon, and I definitely would be contemplating this guy. But there are just these little things that let it down. The fact that its wings don't flap being one of them.
Many a deadly danger makes it home in these woods. Proceed too boldly, and you may find yourself in a very hot spot indeed. The 8-foot giant-sized, color-changing wyvern.
The next prop I have to talk about, though, is the giant-sized animated galley crow. And even though it says what it is, I still don't know what it is.
What is it? What is it? I don't know.
We've got this huge, we've now found out it is indeed 15 foot, which is incredible, really, just like the big scarecrow character. But like the big scarecrow character, it's just moving its head, and it's got light up effects in the head and in the body. And that's cool, except this clearly isn't a scarecrow. It's a crow, but it's got the body of a scarecrow. It's got like a tree-like body, and it's wearing a hood, and its face is crow-like, but I would say not so crow-like that you would go immediately, oh, it's a crow. It's kind of confused as to what exactly it is. It's almost like they had lots and lots of that particular body sculpt which is this kind of scarecrow-esque body sculpt that kind of comes from a tree. And they were like, what else can we do? Oh, we've got this random crow's head. Let's stick that on. It's kind of weird. I don't get it. It's impressive, don't get me wrong, and it's cool, and it's a cool looking thing. I just think that anyone who saw it, I can imagine a queue of people coming to my home and seeing this thing towering over everything else and being like, ooh, what is it?
Oh my god, what is that?
Like, you know, like the scarecrow's a scarecrow. If it was a reaper, you'd go, oh, it's a reaper or a witch or a whatever. This is one of those things that it isn't immediately obvious exactly what it is. And I think even the people who end up buying it are going to be like, yeah, it's really cool. I have no idea what it is. And maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe that's okay. But it's such a big dominating thing, you probably still do kind of want to know what it is, right? And what, you know, is it a crow? I mean, it's called a crow, but like what's happening here? Is this some kind of mutated field of corn where the scarecrow got bigger? So it's like an arms race. So then the crow had to get bigger to not be scared of the big scarecrow. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what people were thinking when they were designing this. It's cool. I just don't know what it is.
Look up, unless you're prepared to meet the glowing gaze of the 15-foot, giant-sized animated LED galley crow.
The Fiery Reaper was another prop that I kind of liked, but again, I'm left a little disappointed. I think it looks very, very cool. I do like the sort of lit, fiery look to this character and the red glowing eyes and the scroll that's lit up too. And I like how he's sort of talking about how you're on his list, obviously his list of the dead, if you like. But still, this character is very basic. It's got some great details. I like the face sculpt on this guy. I like the hooded cloak. The cloak looks good quality. And even the scythe that this character has looks really good quality too, with great amount of detail. I just would have liked this to have a little bit more movement. The mouth movement's very basic on this too, but at least it has mouth movement. Barber guy, zombie barber guy, I'm looking at you. I just would have liked more movement with this and something more than just a slightly lunging hand. It's a bit plain and a little bit basic, but I've got a soft spot for Reapers, so he gets a pass.
Been looking everywhere for you. You're next on my list.
Then I want to talk very briefly about the Bride of Frankenstein. Now, I was a little cruel to the Bride of Frankenstein because I love that movie and love anything that's Frankensteins Monster related. And when I saw this Bride of Frankenstein in the initial images and footage, I wasn't impressed. I was kind of like, I was expecting it to do more. I didn't fully understand why it was posed with its mouth sort of gaping open, even though it is the sort of image burnt into your retina of the Bride of Frankenstein, where she's kind of screaming and looking kind of all... You know what I mean? It looked good, but not at the same time. But actually seeing it in this slightly better Home Depot footage, I have to say it does look pretty impressive. I like the movement. I like the eye movement. It's not as good as Frankenstein's Monster, but it's still good in its own way. I like the fact that she just sort of screams. I like the way it looks, the flowing gown, the black hair with the stripe in it, even though it originally was red. But you know what I mean? I like it. I think it looks good. And I think if you've got a Frankenstein area to your haunt, she'll go in really well with that area. There's not much more to say. It's a good prop, and I was maybe a little harsh about it.
Indeed she is, and much like her monstrous birth, the 6-foot animated LED Bride of Frankenstein is back from the dead.
I'm not going to bother talking about the butcher, or the barber, or the candlestick maker. No, he wasn't there. But I'm not going to bother talking about them. One looks like a pig, one looks like a barber. They have no mouth movement, they have basic head movement. The barber does move his arm a bit, but it's all very basic, and we already knew it, and I'm not impressed. Sorry. The zombie stack looks really good, but we already knew that. The Raven character, I still don't fully get. Again, they've gone really weird with crows and ravens this year. It's basically the same, similar kind of looking thing to Plague Doctor last year, but now it's this raven-headed character. It's kind of interesting, it's kind of cool, but again, a piece of me is just like, why? What is this?
Once upon a midnight dreary, in fields rotten beneath skies eerie, a feathered figure, cloaked in dark, utters this macabre remark.
One prop I do want to talk about, though, is the Nightshade Witch. Now, they brought out a whole series of witches this year, actually. There's some really quite fun ones. There's a little one that has like a frog that jumps out of the cauldron that she's holding. There is those stirring witches, which don't look great, but they're not terrible. There's some great detail in their costumes. There's some great detail on the cauldron that they're stirring, or rather kind of prodding. It's a bit of a weird motion, and they don't look very amazing. But I have talked about this before. If you're missing that sort of cauldron stirring witch element from your display, these are not too bad. They're actually okay. My favorite from the lineup, though, is the Nightshade Witch, which I kind of knew it was going to be. It's no Lethal Lily, but I've got to stop comparing every new witch animatronic to Lethal Lily anyway. This is a pretty cool looking crone of a witch. I think the face sculpt on this is really, really good. We've got some really creepy, gross details here. She's got a very warty face, deep, dark black lines across the face too. Her hair is kind of dark and matted looking. She's holding a staff with a raven on it, which is cool. The costume overall looks very, very good. And the movement reminds me a lot of the Morris costume Servo Crone Witch from a few years back, where she's got a lot of arm movement and she's got a lot of head movement too. She actually sort of looks up at you and looks down again. I like the hat. The hat looks really good. I think there's a lot of really cool elements about this. I think the one element to this that people are kind of questioning are the LCD eyes. Maybe this would have been better with some realistic looking eyes. Maybe even the sort of eyes that we've got in the Bride of Frankenstein. But actually, there is a lot of options with those LCD eyes. In a couple of the bits of pictures we've seen, she's got like flame effect in the eyes, or even like cat's eyes. I think that looks really cool. Love hearts and all that kind of stuff, no, does not need to happen with this witch. But I do like that you've got options. The mouth movement is maybe a little bit basic, but it's still pretty cool. And actually the hand movement, the hand that's free of the staff, actually has quite an interesting twist to it, like she's kind of casting a spell. I think it's a good witch, and I've got to stop just putting up witches against Lethal Lily all the time. And at the end of the day, not everyone's a huge fan of Lethal Lily, so I shouldn't do that.
For they may be your last. You do well to heed their warning, for your own sake.
And the last prop that I'm actually going to bother to talk about in this lineup, because this video is going on for way too long, is the Grave Robber. Now, this was the prop that in the sort of initial footage we got was the one that impressed me the most. We've all seen Grave Robbers before, or Grave Digger type animatronics. I like them. I like them all on different levels. But this one had something pretty cool about it. It obviously looked really creepy with those sorts of flaps of skin over the eyes. And it had that cool little function where a skull kind of pops up from underneath the foot. And I thought that was a cool little action, something to go along with this pretty cool looking prop. It's got a great costume. It's got great phrases. It looks pretty good. But it's one of those things where the weird part is, unlike with the Guardian, the Gourds, that looks better in this footage than it did in the original footage we have, this actually looks worse in this footage than it did in the initial footage we got. It doesn't look great. Something about the mouth movement that just looks a bit off, and it just doesn't look as good as it did at that managers meeting. It's still impressive. It's still a pretty cool idea. I do like Grave Robbers, but I have to agree with my friend Scaredad when he said, are people gonna see that? Are people going to be looking up here, or are they going to be looking down there? And if they're looking up here, they might miss that pop-up function. I think a lantern might have come in. Just the addition of a lantern down on that little mound of soil might have drawn the eyes downward just long enough to have actually seen that pop-up function. It's cool. I still really like it. It didn't look as good in this footage as it did in the original. Maybe they should have just left it at that.
Cannot escape my prying eyes, for I shall finally unveil all that you'd had to hide.
The shovel and spade is an unsavory trade when digging for riches in the den of the dead.
And that is it for today. This is a much longer video. I just needed to catch up with all of that, or as much as I could. I know there's going to be things there from Home Depot particularly that I haven't spoken about. And I think I've probably forgotten one or two things from Spirit as well. But there's time to catch up now. I just wanted to get most of that out, and those were the things I really, really wanted to talk about more than anything else. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching today, and I will see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.